In Revenge of the Sith, we saw Anakin Skywalker make his final choice. He duels Obi-Wan on Mustafar, leaps in defiance, and loses. Broken and burning.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness! You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
He screams his hatred as the flames consume him. That moment ends Anakin and gives birth to Darth Vader, the machine-bound terror who would define an era of darkness. But what if Anakin never burned? What if he survived that night, scarred, defeated, but still whole? In this version of the story, that's exactly what happens. And nothing turns out the same. Let's begin. Our story begins in the molten world of Mustafar. The duel between master and apprentice had already shaken the foundations of the galaxy. Obi-Wan Kenobi, forced to fight the brother he loved, finds himself standing on a slope of volcanic rock. With one swift motion, he flips to the high ground and calls out his warning, "Don't try it." But arrogance blinds Anakin. He leaps anyway, blade raised, certain that his raw power will carry him through. And in that instant, fate comes crashing down. Obi-Wan's lightsaber flashes, slicing through the air, severing both of Anakin's legs and his left arm. His body tumbles down the embankment, fury echoing across the lava rivers. In the world we know, this is where fire devours him. But here, things play out differently. Anakin, writhing in shock and rage, uses his one remaining arm to claw himself higher onto the black stone. It's not skill, not strategy, just pure survival instinct. He doesn't slide into the lava's embrace. He drags himself back, away from the flames, body mangled but still intact. Obi-Wan stares down at him, trembling with grief. His heart tells him to finish it, to strike down the fallen Jedi before he can rise again. But then a shadow passes overhead, a shuttle glinting silver against the smoke. The Chancellor has arrived. In that moment, Obi-Wan falters. If Yoda failed, if Sidious has triumphed, then there is no time. Padme is still alive, unconscious on the ship, and Obi-Wan knows he must protect her and her unborn child. With one last look at Anakin, he makes his choice. He takes up his fallen apprentice's lightsaber, turns his back, and flees into the storm. Palpatine's boots touch the scorched stone only moments later. The Emperor gazes down at the shattered body of his chosen apprentice. His disappointment is sharp, but it's drowned beneath opportunity. He orders the clones to fetch a stasis pod, and as Anakin's eyes flicker open, he leans close. "Where is Obi-Wan? Where is Padme?" Anakin whispers through cracked lips. Palpatine delivers the lie with venomous precision. "In your anger, you killed her." Shock and grief twist through Anakin's broken frame, before unconsciousness drags him under. Palpatine smiles. The Jedi are gone, Padme is gone, and Anakin Skywalker now belongs to him. On Coruscant, the galaxy mourns the supposed death of a hero. There's no announcement, no funeral, no truth. As far as the Senate knows, Anakin Skywalker perished during the Jedi betrayal. But in secret, Palpatine works tirelessly to rebuild him. Not with the suffocating armor that would define the Vader we know, but with something subtler. The surgeons attach cybernetic legs and an arm, functional, durable, but deliberately outdated. Clone Wars relics, slow and imperfect. Palpatine wants Anakin powerful, but not unstoppable. Every weakness built into his body is a chain the Emperor can tug if the apprentice grows too bold. Weeks pass. Scars fade, but not the anger burning inside him. When Anakin finally rises from the medical table, he does so not as a disfigured machine, but as a man with fire in his eyes. His vision is clear, his hearing sharp, his face untouched by flame. He wears black armor, sleek and ominous, but it is still Anakin Skywalker's face that stares back at him from the glass. The galaxy will never see the mask, and that difference alone changes everything. Palpatine wastes no time breaking him in. In a private chamber high above the Coruscant skyline, he summons his apprentice and greets him not with praise, but with pain. A surge of Force lightning slams into Anakin's chest, hurling him across the floor. "You failed me," Sidious hisses. "You failed yourself." Even Padme would have been disappointed. The words cut deeper than the lightning. Anakin staggers back, rage boiling in his veins, but before he can even form a retort, another wave of energy racks his body. He collapses, trembling. Sidious lets the silence linger, then delivers the first true command of his new empire. "If you wish to redeem yourself, find Yoda. Destroy him. Only then will you prove worthy of the name Darth Vader." Fueled by grief, shame, and a hunger for validation, Anakin obeys. He hunts through the currents of the Force, reaching for the familiar spark of the Jedi Grandmaster. It takes days, but finally he feels it, faint, weary, but alive. On a distant swamp world called Dagobah, he descends in his new Star Destroyer, marching alone into the mist. He expects a battle, expects the fight of his life. Instead, he finds Yoda waiting on a log, ancient eyes heavy with sorrow. The little master does not raise a blade. He speaks softly, words like a farewell. "One with the Force am I, and the Force is with me." Anakin snarls, fury spiking at the thought of being denied the duel he craved. He ignites his crimson blade, and with one swift stroke, Yoda falls. No resistance, no fight, only silence as a beacon of light flickers out forever. For a moment, Anakin feels triumph. He has succeeded where Sidious failed, but victory turns hollow almost instantly. The rage that drove him doesn't fade, it grows. Even after killing the greatest of the Jedi, he feels no peace, only emptiness. He carries Yoda's remains back to Coruscant as proof of his obedience, but inside, something festers. He begins to realize what he has always known. Sidious is the true source of his torment. The man who promised salvation has given him nothing but chains. And so a seed is planted. The galaxy sees Anakin Skywalker reborn, a war hero turned enforcer of the Empire. Palpatine parades him before the Senate as proof of loyalty. He is hailed as the man who stopped the traitorous Jedi, the blade that saved the Chancellor's life. Cheers echo across the chamber. But on the fringes of the crowd, one man cannot watch. Cloaked in shadow, Obi-Wan Kenobi sees the broadcast flicker across a cantina wall. His stomach turns, his heart breaks all over again. The boy he raised, the brother he loved, now celebrated as the face of tyranny. He can't bear it. He leaves in silence, haunted by the voice of his old master whispering through the Force. "This is not your failure, Obi-Wan. The time will come." Meanwhile, Anakin's path only darkens. He refines his new limbs, modifying them in secret to outpace the limitations Sidious imposed. Each adjustment sharpens him, bringing him closer to the warrior he once was. He crushes resistance cells, hunts down scattered Jedi, and earns a reputation across the stars. But the whispers of betrayal never leave him. Every time he kneels before Sidious, every time he feels the sting of lightning reminding him of his place, he imagines what it would be like to turn his hand and end it. And deep inside, he knows that day will come. 10 years pass. The Empire stands at its height, and its enforcer is not a shadow in a mask, but the familiar face of Anakin Skywalker. The Senate, the military, even the people of the galaxy all know his name. He is the hero who ended the Clone Wars, the general who stood by the Chancellor against Jedi treachery. His portrait hangs in recruitment halls. His speeches echo across star systems. To the public, he is not a monster, but a symbol of strength. And that is exactly how Palpatine wants it. But behind closed doors, the reality is very different. Anakin lives in constant torment. Every mission ends in victory, yet never in peace. He executes the will of the Emperor without hesitation, hunting Jedi survivors, crushing uprisings. But every time he kneels, every time he feels Sidious's gaze burn into him, the same thought repeats. This is not what I was meant to be. The breaking point comes when whispers reach him of a world he swore never to see again, Naboo. Reports claim a Jedi fugitive has been spotted near Theed. Anakin avoids Naboo whenever possible. The memories are too sharp, too painful. It was where he and Padme were married, where they dreamed of a future that never came. Yet when he hears Kenobi's name tied to the report, his blood runs cold. For a decade, Obi-Wan has eluded him, a ghost slipping through the cracks of the Empire. But now, Naboo is calling them both back. Anakin travels alone. No Inquisitors, no battalions. Pride demands it. If Obi-Wan is truly there, the old master will fall by his hand alone. When he arrives, the world overwhelms him. The lake country, the meadows, the very streets of Theed, all of it pulls him back to a time when he was simply Anakin, not Vader. His eyes burn, but not from anger. For the first time in years, he allows himself a tear. He wipes it away quickly. Weakness has no place here. But Naboo has one last wound to deliver. In the outskirts of the capital, Anakin stumbles upon a monument he has never dared to visit, Padme Amidala's tomb. Cold stone, carved with the name of the woman he loved, the woman he lost. He kneels, hand trembling against the casket, and then a voice calls out behind him. Anakin. He turns, and the years collapse. Obi-Wan Kenobi, robes drawn, eyes shadowed by regret. The sight ignites every scar within him. His saber ignites in an instant, crimson light slashing through the gloom. The duel begins again. Their blades crash like thunder. Sparks scatter across sacred ground. The rhythm is almost identical to Mustafar, as if the galaxy itself remembers their first tragedy. Obi-Wan moves with patience, Anakin with fury, and neither can find the upper hand. But then Anakin does something he never dared before. He hurls the Force itself at Padme's tomb, wrenching stone from the shrine and smashing it toward his master. Obi-Wan is knocked aside, saber flying from his grip. Pinned beneath rubble, breath ragged, he stares up at the crimson blade hovering above. "This ends here," Anakin snarls. But before he can strike, another voice pierces the moment. "Master!" Anakin freezes. From the shadows steps Ahsoka Tano, older now, battle-hardened, but still carrying the fire of the apprentice he once cherished. She ignites her white blades, their glow a painful reminder of everything he threw away. Anakin's fury explodes. He turns from Obi-Wan, saber clashing against hers. The duel is brutal, white and red slashing across the night. Ahsoka fights with everything she has, but she knows the truth. He has grown beyond her. Every move she makes is met. Every strike countered. His power is monstrous, his rage bottomless. He pins her back, pressing her against the stones. Just when it seems she will fall, Obi-Wan drags himself free, blue saber reigniting as he leaps back into the fray. Three blades now circle in a storm of light, red, blue, and white. It is chaos. And yet something shifts. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka fight not with rage, but with memory. They call him by name, they remind him of who he was, who he could be, and for the first time, Anakin hesitates. Ahsoka seizes the moment. Her blade slashes across his face, leaving a deep scar that burns across his cheek. Anakin collapses to his knees, panting, fury tangled with confusion. Both Jedi hold their sabers at his throat, but then, slowly, deliberately, they retract them. "We don't want to kill you," Ahsoka says. "We want our friend back." Obi-Wan's voice cracks as he adds, "This doesn't have to be the end, Anakin." The words pierce deeper than any blade. For years, Sidious told him Padme died by his hand. For years, he believed he had destroyed everything. But now Obi-Wan speaks the truth. Padme did not die in that moment of rage. She lived long enough to bring his children into the world, Luke and Leia, his twins. Anakin's breath falters. The Force trembles around him. He sees visions, his mother's smile, Qui-Gon's faith, Padme's love. His yellow eyes soften, burning gold fading to blue. Tears stream as he whispers, "I'm sorry, Master." And for the first time in years, Obi-Wan pulls him into an embrace. Ahsoka smiles faintly, stepping forward to join them. For a brief moment, the galaxy holds its breath. Anakin Skywalker is back. But peace is fragile. It cannot last while Sidious sits on the throne. Anakin knows this better than anyone. He swore to serve the Emperor, but now he sees the truth. Palpatine is the root of all their suffering. He agrees to help Obi-Wan and Ahsoka confront him. Together, they make their plan. The rebellion is still small, but Bail Organa answers their call. A fragile alliance forms, gathering every sliver of hope they can muster. The target, the Imperial Palace on Coruscant, once the Jedi Temple, now the seat of Sith power. They arrive in Anakin's personal shuttle, passing through Imperial security without suspicion. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka are bound in cuffs, feigning capture, while Anakin strides forward as a loyal apprentice. They climb the palace steps, enter the throne chamber, and there he sits, Darth Sidious, smiling with venom. "So, Lord Vader," he hisses, "you bring me gifts." But Anakin doesn't kneel, not this time. He releases Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, their sabers snapping to life. The Emperor cackles, rising with both blades drawn. Lightning flashes, red and blue clash. The throne room erupts into chaos. The duel is ferocious. Palpatine strikes first, overwhelming Obi-Wan with savage precision. Ahsoka steps in, twin sabers blocking a storm of lightning. Anakin charges headlong at his master, rage and purpose fused into one. Red against red, apprentice against master. The fate of the galaxy balanced on their blades. The throne room shook with the fury of the Force. Lightning cascaded from Palpatine's hands, striking stone and steel alike. Obi-Wan fought to keep pace, blocking each strike with weary precision, while Ahsoka darted like quicksilver, her white blade slashing in twin arcs. But it was Anakin who absorbed the Emperor's full attention. Apprentice against master, a duel years in the making. Palpatine fought with the arrogance of a Sith who had conquered everything. He poured the dark side into every movement, every word, every blast of lightning. But Anakin was no longer the broken pawn Sidious molded. He fought not for power, not for pride, but for something greater. Every strike was for the children he'd never met. Every block was for the brother he'd betrayed. Every surge of strength was for the woman who had believed there was still good in him. Their blades locked, red against red, faces inches apart. "I made you," Palpatine hissed. "I saved you from weakness." "You chained me," Anakin growled back. "And now I'm free." With a roar, he shoved Palpatine backward. The Emperor snarled, twisting his saber in a storm of strikes that rattled the chamber. Ahsoka leapt to Anakin's side, joining her blades to his. For a moment, master and apprentice, once Jedi, now scarred survivors, fought together again. Obi-Wan rose, clutching his blue saber, and the three pressed forward as one. Palpatine staggered. The old master's fury blazed, but for the first time doubt crept into his eyes. He unleashed a torrent of lightning, striking Ahsoka to the floor. Obi-Wan leapt to shield her, blue blade absorbing the storm. The Emperor seized the moment, driving his saber deep into Anakin's chest. The galaxy froze. Anakin gasped, staring down at the red blade piercing him. But his own saber did not falter. With the last of his strength, he thrust forward, plunging his weapon through Palpatine's torso. The two locked in silence. Master and apprentice skewered together, dark power crackling between them. Then, slowly, Palpatine collapsed, his robes crumpling over stone, lifeless at last. Anakin fell with him. Obi-Wan rushed to his side, cradling him as he had once held Qui-Gon. "Stay with me," Obi-Wan begged, his voice breaking. "It's all right," Anakin whispered. His face was pale, eyes dimming, but there was peace in them now. "We did it. Tell them I tried." "Anakin, no!" But the words were fading. Anakin managed one last breath, one final smile before his body went still. The Chosen One was gone. Silence filled the chamber. Ahsoka wiped tears from her face, clutching her sabers with trembling hands. Obi-Wan lowered Anakin gently to the ground, grief heavy in his chest. Yet beyond the shattered walls, a new sound rose, a thunder of engines, the roar of rebellion. X-wings cut across Coruscant's sky, fighters pouring into the capital, emboldened by the Emperor's death. Word spread like wildfire. Palpatine was gone. The enforcer of the Empire, Anakin Skywalker, had turned against him. In the Senate chamber, Bail Organa broadcast a message Anakin had left behind, his final confession recorded before the mission. In it, Anakin revealed the truth, that Palpatine was the Sith Lord who had orchestrated the war, that the Jedi never betrayed the Republic, that he had been deceived and broken but had chosen to make it right in the end. The galaxy listened in stunned silence, and for the first time in decades, hope sparked. The Empire crumbled. Without its emperor, without its enforcer, its grip weakened. Governors surrendered, fleets fractured, and the Senate reformed into a new republic. Trials followed. Officers, admirals, and collaborators stood before judgment. The Death Star project was exposed and dismantled before its weapon could ever be completed. The galaxy began to heal. As for the Jedi, they too began to rebuild. Survivors emerged from hiding, called back by the ripple of change. Yoda, frail but alive, stepped forward to guide them. Obi-Wan took on the mantle of teacher, no longer hiding in the desert, but helping to shape a new generation. Ahsoka returned as well, no longer a runaway, but a master in her own right. Together they planted the seeds of a new order, one built not on dogma, but on lessons learned from war, betrayal, and redemption. And then there were the twins. Luke and Leia, kept hidden all those years, were finally told the truth. They learned of the father who had fallen, and of the man who had risen at the end. They grew up not as heirs of shame, but as children of a legacy complicated and human. To them, Anakin Skywalker was not just a cautionary tale, but a reminder that even the darkest path can end in light. Years later, on their 13th birthday, Obi-Wan presented them with a final gift, a hollow recording left by Anakin himself. His voice was steady, his eyes clear. "Luke, Leia, I may not be there to guide you, but I am proud of you. Whatever path you choose, know that I love you, and your mother loved you. The galaxy is yours now. Be better than I was. Be strong, but be kind." The recording ended, leaving the twins in tears, but also with a strength they would carry forever. And so, history turned. Without the mask, without the prison of steel and machinery, Anakin Skywalker remained whole. He lived long enough to face his master and end him, but not long enough to see the galaxy he helped save. His story became legend, not the monster of the Empire, but the man who fell, suffered, and rose again in the final hour. Obi-Wan never stopped mourning. Ahsoka never stopped remembering. Padme, on Naboo, raised her children with dignity, determined that their father's mistakes would not define them. And across the stars, whispers spread that even in the darkest times, light can be reborn. Because in the end, the prophecy had not lied. The Chosen One did bring balance to the Force. Not as the Emperor's servant, not as the masked terror of Vader, but as Anakin Skywalker, flawed, scarred, and redeemed. That's our story. A galaxy where one choice on the banks of Mustafar changed everything. Where Anakin never burned, where he remained whole, where he faced his master and changed the fate of the Empire. A story of failure, pain, and sacrifice, but also of hope. So what do you think? If Anakin had survived Mustafar without the fire, would the galaxy truly have been better, or would the darkness have claimed him all the same?